timba broka me paketi maya. Timba broka me paketi maya. Oh, timba broka me paketi maya. Oh, timba broka me paketi maya. Oh, timba drapa me hipeti maya. Oh, timba drapa me hipeti maya. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Oh, timba drapa mi fute di maya. Oh, timba drapa mi fute di maya. Timba drapa mi paket di maya. Timba drapa mi paket di maya. Timba twisa mi hipet di maya. Timba twisa mi hipet di maya. Timba, 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 ebilo. Timba, 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 ebilo. Timba, 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 ebilo.
We're both working from home. The high-speed internet is absolutely.
The spring sale at Raymore and Flanagan is going on now. Get up to 30% off select items and 10%.
Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Oh, timba broka me paketi maya. Timba broka me paketi maya. Oh, timba broka me paketi maya. Oh, timba broka me paketi maya. Oh, timba drapa me hipeti maya. Oh, timba drapa me hipeti maya. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Oh, timba broka me paketi maya. Timba broka me paketi maya. Oh, timba broka me paketi maya. Oh, timba broka me paketi maya. Oh, timba drapa me hipeti maya. Oh, timba drapa me hipeti maya. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, timba ebilo. Timba, timba, Oh, timba drapa mi fute
So,
di
this is
maya.
Attorney Shelley of Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Kellyan Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins firm.
All right, hey, guess what? We're getting ready to start. My name is Mark Benchop. It's Friday. It's, what is it? Other than Friday, it's the 22nd day of April, right? Gosh. Tom, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? How have you been? You sound better.
Great.
You're not
Time
so sick
is-
anymore, man. You were so sick.
No, Guyanese are never sick.
Oh, really?
No, not unless we're calling in sick. There's a difference,
Oh, okay.
right? Unless
Okay.
we're calling in sick. But I'm sorry if that's the impression that you got, that I was very, very sick.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I don't know if you're going to do the show anymore. You were so sick, man. It was crazy.
I was coughing and all manner of things, huh?
Yeah. What's going
Trying
on?
to say, Tom, but hey, Tom, you're a very smart guy. You're like, hey, Mark, I think you're playing games. Come on, let's get the show going.
Let's get to work, man. No
Let's
more calling in.
I see
For you, buddy.
Look at the studio. Gosh,
Oh, thank
look
you.
at that.
Thank you.
And then I like that,
Little by little, man. Little by little.
little by little. I
Yes.
like that book, The Cast.
Oh, right. I love
Oh
it.
yeah,
It's a great.
indeed.
book.
How have you been though?
Oh man, working hard. I mean, there aren't enough hours in the day. It's crazy.
I know how you feel. I know exactly how you feel about that, but it's really nice to have you as always, Tom. We have lots of things to discuss this evening. And let us just welcome all of our listeners, whether throughout Guyana, wherever they are around the world, in the US, in Canada, just wherever they are. Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Yeah, and one of these days, look, Guyanese have to be, a lot of Guyanese should be placed in the Guinness Book of World Record. I'll show you a photograph how political opponents deal with each other, how they so-called politicians, how they deal with each other. I don't want to scare you, neither do I want to scare the our listeners. But take a look at this. Take a look at. Do you recognize anyone there?
It's hard to tell. It looks like Mark is one. I see you. I see you right there. Yep.
The better looking woman in this photograph is Burke, Rickford Burke. He's one of these Guyanese guys out in.
Oh, that guy.
That's. I mean, look at that, man. Two beauties, man. That is how the political opponents. That is how those in the installed regime. They have nothing to do other than to dress us up and make us look at me. Wow.
But why do they give you? But why do they give you green eyebrows though?
The green eyebrows represent the coalition, the APNU and so forth.
Oh, okay.
But that is so beautiful, man. Gosh, look at that. I guess they must be proud of themselves.
Well, you kind of look better though, Mark. They made you look better.
Look
they made
at
you
Burke.
look better.
Oh man, Burke is lashing out. I guess if you wanna, they have a new spot now in Guyana where they've wasted millions of dollars. With this is a monument, it's supposed to be a monument with the bird. Guess what? And this is for those in the PPP. Those officials who are accustomed picking up members of the peanut butter crew. Well, we will be out there with the peanut butter crew. Off the air, Tom, I'll tell you what the peanut butter crew
That
is.
sounds scary.
We'll be under the bird tonight. Trust me. I'm sure I'll be making a heck of a lot of money. Odinga, I'll be out there. Air Finale, I'll be out there. Ramson Jr., I'll be out there.
With the green eyebrows. Eyebrows. Make sure you go with green eyebrows, though.
Yeah, I'll be out there. I don't know. Burke is looking kind of like... no, Burke doesn't cut it out. I am natural. Look at that.
But wait, why are they doing the two of you? Are you and Burke friends? What's going on?
I don't... well, Burke is somebody that I wouldn't disown. Burke is a fighter. He has his own style. I wouldn't disown Burke at all. You can't disown fighters, right? But everybody got their own style, and Burke must be doing something, tickling them somewhere that they don't like.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's how childish they are in the installed regime. Very, very childish. But Tom, I just put it out just to let people, non-Guyanese and so forth, let them see the sort of individuals we have who are part of the installed regime there in Guyana. They have absolutely nothing better to do. But I just thought.
But Mark, I'll say this, right?
Sure.
Political cartoons. That's a good sign, man. So I'm glad that you're handling it the way that you are. What's funny is if regular people were to be doing this to Jagdeo and these guys, I don't know if they would respond so nicely, right? I think they get mad over stuff like this. So I would just say, you know what? They should keep doing it. They should get a little bit more creative, guys. You can get a little more creative with it. Trust me, you can. Yeah. But I'm glad you're taking this way, because here's the reality, right?
Sure.
A country that's running right has the ability to, have people lampooned in a political way, to have people picked on and made fun of, and it be all right. It's when you are in a situation where you're making fun of someone politically and a death squad comes to visit a house, right? Like that's, and so I'm glad you're taking it well. This is how it should be done. You're a good example for the PPP to follow. I will say that.
Oh yeah, and I hope when the table turns that they're ready, because they have some of them. Oh gosh, you don't even have to put makeup on them. It's just natural. You know what I mean? But and I really do mean it when I say it's just natural for some of them. This is the guy who sits there as the president of the country, and look at that walk. Oh my gosh. Anyways, Tom, I know we're not here for those sort of things, but it's Friday evening.
Boy, the jeans, man, the jeans.
Yeah.
Tom, where can you get a good pair of jeans in Georgetown?
A good pair of jeans?
Yeah.
I know who to call.
Because Dr. Irfan, he needs help for this. So where should he go to get a good pair of jeans? Because that's not what you're supposed to have, Dr. Ali. No, that's wrong. Where should he go in Georgetown to get a proper pair of jeans?
I know where. There's a place in Georgetown that is called the Bendong Boutique.
Okay.
Well,
Dr. Ali, you know where you're going now. He has to go there to get the proper jeans.
Exactly. And not only that, the hand movements. Anyways, Tom, we have lots of things to talk about this evening. Yeah. Those guys are insignificant. And so we don't we don't deal with them. I know a lot of their supporters. We call them catfish and all these sort of things. They are going to come on, but we don't tolerate them here at all. So let's get ready to do some serious business here, and some serious business. I noticed some of the supporters of the PPP. They're already getting upset. They don't like what we call the lashback in Guyana. They just don't like it.
Yeah.
And they know that they can get some serious lashback, but we got far better things to deal with. Tom, speaking of the
that's
regime,
their job, though. Their job is to take serious lashback. They know that. That's why they're getting a little antsy, because they know it's coming.
Exactly. And a lot of them, they're part of the peanut butter crew. They enjoy lashbacks. But
right.
I know, Tom.
Don't worry, it's coming.
16 minutes after 9 o'clock in beautiful Guyana. Our athletes there at Carifta, they performed really well. In Jamaica, they came back with gold, silver, and bronze. Congratulations to the team. But you know what, Tom? When they got back to Guyana, they got nothing, absolutely nothing. These guys who are standing there next to them are so-called officials of the regime, part of the sports ministry, did absolutely nothing for them. But before we go on to the political matters, let me show you guys what the people of the other countries did. This is when Guyana returned last evening. So you notice that they just got back from the airport, and it's just a handshake. Hello, how are you? But look at the other countries. Look at the Cayman Islands. Look. Okay, that's the other team. Their folks were there at the airport for them. Take a look at what the Bajans, the Barbadians did to their athletes. That's Barbados. Again, Tom, before I get to the question, take another look at Guyana, how the athletes were welcomed home last evening. You notice the difference there, right? Let me
Yeah,
get your take on any regime, any government treating their athletes. Those athletes came back with 7 medals, and that's the reception they got compared to the others. Your take, sir.
Well, I have a unique take. Okay, I'm sorry. I have a unique take on this, and it's because, you know, like I said before on the show, I coach on, you know, the youth level in track, and we're constantly competing against teams from Barbados and the Bahamas and Bermuda. We never go against anyone from Guyana. We just don't, right? We go against people in Trinidad. We go against people from Jamaica, from everywhere. We've had people from France in our meets here. Okay, so like from all over the world, and I've never seen Guyana. So what that tells me is, well, 2 things. First of all, your team probably isn't getting much support at all, period, leading up to them even trying to compete. Okay, so the fact that they're winning medals says a lot about just their abilities, because it's hard to compete against some of these island nations because they put a lot of money into these sports, and the reception came through the way it did in those other countries because this is important to their community. You know, clearly Guyana, the people of Guyana do not find this sport of much interest because it doesn't cost that much money for regular people to go and celebrate your own brothers and sisters winning medals in a competition is really hard. They had to really compete hard for that. So I wouldn't leave it to the regime. I wouldn't criticize the regime on this. I just won't. Who I criticize are people of Guyana, because I promise you, those athletes put everything and then some into what they do. They don't expect the support. I'm sure they don't. I'm sure in their minds, they're never going to get support in Guyana. But shame on the people of Guyana for not supporting them. And I put that on everybody because that's where the support has to come from. The regime has to be forced to do the right thing. And the only way they're going to do the right thing is when the people do the right thing. And in this case, the people should be there to support their athletes, especially these guys, because I'm telling you, I'm competing in this sport, and it's hard. It's really hard. So yeah, I put this more on the general public in Guyana, in my opinion.
You know, but I wouldn't. In the case of Guyana, Tom, I know it all too well that I wouldn't put it on the folks in Guyana, because a lot of times the people go out and there's so much that the business people from the business community, they have done and they continue to do, but they just don't get the support.
But it doesn't. But Mark,
Yeah.
it's look. Are you telling me it costs money to have 100 people, regular people, just be there at the airport to welcome them? It doesn't. You don't have to pay people money. I mean, come on, man.
You have a point. I thought you were talking about financial support, but
No, not the financial support. I'm just saying,
have-
just. I mean, come on. I mean, clearly,
yeah,
it doesn't
because
cost any money to be
those
there.
two officials got out of their bed and
Yeah.
they just headed out there. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
No flowers.
But
No
like
nothing.
the people, their cousins, their uncles, their brothers and sisters, their mothers, their classmates should have been there.
When they got home in their areas, they were properly welcomed.
No, but they should have been. But they should have been properly welcomed right there at the airport, right? Because I bet if it was cricket, I don't know. I think they may have been welcomed right there at the airport if it was cricket. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. But also, and not to find excuses for them, is that sometimes the relatives don't get proper information. They're not sure what time the flight is coming in. The flight might be late, and all manner of things. But you are correct. We don't expect the regime for them to go out there and to care for these individuals. And I want you to take a look at as to why the regime doesn't care. Take a look at all of these young athletes.
I know. Trust me, Mark, it's what I'm facing here in the United States in the same sport. Who do you think are the best athletes here in the sport? So guess what happens? I live in a community where we have a beautiful park, beautiful park that I pay a lot of tax money for, and I mean a lot. I can't train in that park with my kids. I'm banned. They told me they will call the police on me for having my kids running around in the park. That's how it goes here for this sport. Okay, I'm just telling you. So I'm not surprised that this is happening in Guyana. It happens here in the United States. Okay, so it's hard for us here to find ways to run and exercise. It's rough. It's really rough.
But in Guyana, the ethnic makeup, that a lot of the PPP supporters probably wouldn't want to hear this. We're all black folks, They're darker.
Exactly. It's like, come on, I know. It's true.
You're laughing about that because you know exactly what. We're all black folks. Some of these guys are darker, 10 times darker than us, Tom. 10 times darker than us.
I know.
The
whole, look, man, the entire idea of race and come on, man, it's ridiculous. So the whole thing is a made up construct of garbage. But with that, but with that said, this sport, I'm telling you, man, it doesn't get the kind of support it should get. It just doesn't. And I'm not surprised that the athletes in Guyana aren't being supported that much in this sport because, like I said, I'll bet with cricket, it would be different.
Cricket, and Mr. Irfan Ali met with a boxer who is competing sometime this weekend against a Panamanian. His name is, the Guyanese is, Elton Darry. And he met with Elton today. He hugged Elton. I don't know for what, but they hugged each other. And he wished Elton well. Compared to the treatment, that they give to these athletes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because Elton's ethnicity is different from these athletes.
Well, look, it's part of it, Mark. That's just the reality. It's part of it. But at the end of the day, to see how many athletes you guys have competing in that is pretty, wow. It's pretty impressive. Number one. Number two, that they were winning medals is also very impressive because I'm telling you, I'm competing against these guys when I'm coaching kids who are competing against these guys. And I competed when I was a teenager and in high school against these guys. And they're good. They're really good. Yeah. So, it's not easy to beat them. So first of all, congratulations to all the athletes who competed, period. Because that alone takes a lot. It takes a lot more than most listeners and most viewers could ever imagine. So congratulations to you guys.
Let me show you this, and thank you so much, Tom. This person got to be a supporter of the PPP, and I really do mean it. They come with these fake pages and so forth. It's probably a guy that we call in Guyana Licklip. I'll tell you off here who is Licklip. And again, Kwame McCoy probably is watching. It says stop the race hate and hats off to those kids. Now, you see, we're speaking the truth, reality, and you see how some of these political vagabonds, they run and they say, it is race hate. You're speaking the truth.
It's just the truth.
We are speaking the truth.
I'm sitting here, I'm in America right here, and I'm telling you, I have been banned from parks that I pay tax money for, and I can't tell you why. I mean, I can only say it's my skin color. I don't know why I can't go with my kids to the park that's right near my house that I pay.
And Tom, you're multiracial, background.
But and they told me, we know who you are. We know you're a track coach, so you can't coach kids here. I'm like, well, these are my kids. I mean, literally my own personal kids. So I'm just telling you. It's not race hate. I mean, it's not race hate. What this is just reality. It's just reality. And we have to live with it. And you know what? Sorry, some people have to hear it, but we have to live with it. And we're going to talk about it. And if you don't like to hear about it, then listen to something else.
That's what they do. That's what they do to us, Tom, when we speak about these matters. They rush out and they say, we are racist. We are race baiting. Why do we even? I don't know. These guys are. And a lot of them, when you look at their complexions, they're 10 times darker than us. they are considered black people, and the amount of black people during the civil rights struggles and all these manner of things that paved the way for America to have a little bit of freedom for all of us, including them.
Yep, exactly.
Man, look,
Exactly.
Tom, I don't know. These guys, I think they need help.
Well, you know what? A lot of them, I'll tell you what it comes down to. A lot of them think that since they ignore any idea that there's any kind of race issue anywhere, that's what makes them successful in their life. That the people who aren't successful are the ones who keep blaming all their problems on race.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, there are a lot of successful people who are just telling the truth. I'm pretty successful. I'm just telling the truth.
True.
Mark, you're successful. You're just telling the truth.
No. Remember, no. For them, we are not successful. For some of them, they are the only successful ones. Remember what they say here about us? We are on welfare.
Yeah, I know.
Food stamps. I have never in my life had food stamps, and even if there's nothing wrong with food stamps, a lot of these folks are in food stamps. A lot of them live out, and they love to say people like us live in basements and all manner of things. I don't know these guys. They're quick to condemn. Enough of those trench crappos, as we call them. Tom, hear what's happening, man. Hear what's happening. This guy.
Yep.
I thought it was Jack Dare for a moment, but it's not. Former president extradited to the U.S. on drug charges.
Honduras.
Drug charges. Your take, sir.
I mean, and it was a lot too, and it seems to be pretty violent. What was going, and he got arrested like days after his presidency, his term ended. So, I mean, wow. What's interesting is if you just Google Honduras, Guyana, and cocaine, you'll see many, 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 many links. And it's all about this shipment of cocaine that leaves out of places like Honduras and it goes into places like Guyana. And from Guyana, it goes to Africa, Europe, all throughout the world, United States, Canada, the Caribbean. Him going down now means that there are more dominoes to go down. And here's how that applies to Guyana. So it's alleged that he not only had bought off government officials in his own country, but government officials in other countries. So if he wants to one day see freedom or have an opportunity one day to just have a normal life instead of dying behind bars, or have at least some type of life in jail that isn't totally horrible, he's going to have to talk and give up records, and he's going to probably. And when they go through it, they're going to know everyone and everything connected to what he was doing over 8 years in Honduras. So I would say if anyone in Guyana was involved with this guy, just know that they know who you are already, and you're on the list. So I can tell you that right now, because he's a big one that they got, a big one. And with him going down, there are going to be a lot of others in the region and probably in Guyana who will go down too.
Absolutely, probably. And you're not surprised at this at all, because people think that because they were once president and so forth, and they got to remember in Panama, Noriega, right?
Yep.
Noriega. He was president, but this guy's a former president, and they nabbed him. I noticed a lot of the comments, people are saying that it should have been Jack Dale. I don't know.
Well,
so this guy is going to whistle. Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, there's going to be a lot of dominoes to fall from this. He's gonna a lot of people will go down from this. I'm pretty sure.
Lots of people indeed. If you're now joining us, 34 minutes after 9 o'clock, Tom, there seemed to have been a false start. First, we heard, that's according to Stabrook News, they claim that they have a source. First we heard that there's going to be a visit, U.S. Secretary of State Blinken to visit in June. And everybody started to talk about this visit. Why? It will be the second U.S. Secretary of State to visit Guyana in a short space of time. The first was Mike Pompeo. He landed there in Guyana. He got a red carpet and all manner of nice things. They had billboards for him. They cleaned up the roads. They cleared up, speed bumps for him. They shined up the markets. They did everything. They gave some homeless people haircuts and all manner of things, free haircuts. A lot of them on the government bench in Parliament were looking sharp that time when they turned up back in Parliament. And now we are hearing that this guy, Secretary of State, Mr. Blinken, according to sources, that Starbuck News is saying sources, come to find out the U.S. Embassy is saying that's not true. There is no set date. There is no talk about any visit. None whatsoever. What's going on here, Tom? What's really happening?
Well, first of all, I'm looking at Tony Blinken, and man, this guy has aged a lot since he started. Oh my God. Whoa, man, that's a stressful job.
Yeah, Tony has aged. He has aged.
Big time. That's a stressful job. When you first sent me the rumor thing, my response was, And the reason why my response was is because I wasn't saying, oh, it's not true. I didn't know, maybe it is true. But I thought to myself, well, okay, well, if it's true, then something bad must be happening, right? I mean, I don't know. Because is there anything good in Guyana happening that's worth his visit?
I can name a few things good. The athletes are making us proud. That's one.
Okay. Like anything like good happening that's different than like normal, right? And so I just thought to myself, well, there's nothing new going on that's different than the normal. Then why would he be coming now? It has to be something bad, and it has to be something really bad if he's coming, right? So I just thought, this can't be good news. So then when I saw that he's not coming, I thought, okay, well then who would make up a rumor on something that calamitous for Guyana? Because I believe it would be calamitous if he came. I really do believe that. And the reason why I say that is because you've got Dr. Irfan Ali going out to Dubai, right? You've got Jagdeo doing who knows what he's doing. He's, like Jagdeo said to the vice reporter, Jagdeo, he talks to everybody who needs business deals in Guyana. And if you need this, you can get that. If you, whatever you need, they all come to Jagdeo. So you've got him doing that. So who knows what that's all about, right? And it's like the Secretary of State comes into the middle of that while we just cut a deal with Venezuela. Well, what's he coming to say? That, our new friends in Venezuela want their land back. And so they're going to take this back and you're not going to stop them? Is that what this is about? I started thinking that this just can't be. And so who would want to be putting out a rumor like this for something that's good, that would be bad for Guyana, not good? And that's where I'm at now, is I'm wondering who wants bad for Guyana? Because clearly a visit from the Secretary of State from our country is not a good thing, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
But there was a Secretary of State that visited Guyana that turned out to be for the PPP a good thing.
But was it good for Guyana?
Out of it. Two bad things
for Guyana, though.
Pardon me?
Was it good for Guyana?
No, and that's why I said it was good for the PPP, because they got their propaganda, and it was good for the individual who visited as well. And it turned out not to be that successful for both sides, because he's no longer Secretary of State. That is Pompeo. And Irfan Ali didn't get what he asked for. He asked for catfish to be exported. And but let me ask you.
Wait, Mark. Let's just stop. Think about what you just said. So the Secretary of State of the United States came to Guyana just for Dr. Irfan Ali to say he wants to sell us catfish?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
All he asked for, he didn't say that he wants proper, investment in the electoral system, monies or whatever. He didn't say this. He didn't talk about democracy. He didn't talk about proper training for law enforcement officers. Nothing. He just said that, can you help us with the catfish? Because the U.S. apparently banned catfish from being sent into the U.S. for obvious reasons, cocaine and so forth and so on. And so he was begging then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo for him to lift the ban on catfish. Mike Pompeo was apparently surprised. Like, wait a minute, who the hell is this guy? Can you believe all he's asking me for catfish? For me to help lift the ban on catfish? That's all, Tom.
I don't understand what that's all about. I mean, I don't. I'm sorry, man, but like, I look at Guyana. You guys are getting nothing from USAID. Getting nothing. I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, you're not getting literally nothing. You're getting pennies, man. Like, you guys aren't getting anything. The Secretary of State is in charge of USAID. The Secretary of State is in charge of a lot of programs that Guyana is getting no money from. So if he's in charge of these programs and it's his job to make sure they're implemented right, why is he coming to Guyana? Because none of the programs are in Guyana. That's not his job. So why is he coming? That's why I said, what is this about? What's this rumor? Because the only reason why he would be coming is probably for something dealing with Venezuela. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know why someone would put out this rumor. But it's bad news for Guyana if he comes out.
All right.
It's bad news it's just bad news. I'm just saying.
Tom.
Yeah.
Stabrook News said sources, not source, sources. And now Stabrook News is not just one of those online PPP propaganda, even though they go very soft on the PPP indeed. Now they're saying sources. The U.S. Embassy is now saying, hey, wait a minute. I don't know where you got your sources are from, but no imminent plan for Blinken to visit Guyana, U.S. Embassy.
Of course there isn't. Like I say, but why would there be? I'm just saying, like, the more I think about it, why would there be? What's going? I mean, okay, so it has nothing to do with anything that the State Department runs because they're not running anything significant in Guyana. So that means he's not coming for anything that deals with the State Department. Okay. So what would he be coming for then? Then he's coming to deal with something that deals with something international. Well, the only thing I know about international is Dr. Irfan Ali's meeting with people in Dubai. Oh, well, how? That's all I know. I know that the PPP, they really like Putin and the Russians. They really do. So if he's coming and he's going to visit the PPP who love the Russians and Vladimir Putin, how can this be a good visit? I don't understand. How could this be good? It would be calamitous. It would be horrendous for the PPP. At least, at the minimum, it would be horrendous. Because what are they going to explain away? And by the way, come on, man. Like, what are they going to say? You know, oh, we're not cutting deals. They got everything recorded. They know everything that the PPP. Come on. So it's just, nah, man. If he's coming out there, it's not good for the PPP. And if it's not good for the PPP, it's not good for the country. Like, so I don't know who the sources are, but they should think about what they're putting out there because this is not a good rumor. It's pretty bad, in my opinion.
Pretty bad indeed. But does he have to really go to Guyana to deliver that bad news?
My point, though, if he's coming to Guyana, I'm telling you, it's because of Russia or something with China, and it's just not going to be a good day for the PPP. That's what I'm saying. That's why you would have to go in person, is to personally deliver a message so that there will be no questions whatsoever when the hammer comes down, when it comes down. So that no one can say, oh, we weren't told. No, he came face to face, eyeball to eyeball, and he told you flat out, A, B, and C, if you do it, this will be the consequence. And if they do it, that's why he would come. So I don't know why anyone thinks it'd be a good thing for the PPP to get ultimatums from our Secretary of State. But that's what probably would be happening if he's coming all the way to Guyana, because there's nothing else to go down there for. In my opinion, from what I see, could be wrong, but that's what I'm looking at.
But let me ask you this.
Yep.
There must be some element of truth in all of this. because the U.S. Embassy in its statement didn't really say that he's not going to be or whatever. They say if ever he is going to be visiting Guyana, the embassy will notify the government. That's all they're saying. Do you believe that at some point in time, in the near future, that Secretary of State Blinken will visit Guyana? There's some truth here, Tom. Come on, there's some truth.
Okay, this would be the only way. And like I say, I'm telling you, man, it's not a good day for the PPP, okay? If the PPP have cut a deal to get to the Russians, sugarcane, whatever it might be, something that is grown in Guyana that the people of Russia need to eat and they can't get from somewhere else. And let's say they've cut this deal. Let's say they've cut other deals, right? And our government wants those deals to end. Well, we would probably send our Secretary of State to go to Guyana to tell them that's it on the deals with the Russians. End them. And if you don't, here are the consequences. So if he visits, that's probably what he's going to be telling them, which won't be a good day for the PPP. And I don't know how likely is it that the PPP have made a huge blunder and have cut so many deals with the Russians that now the Secretary of State has to come and tell them no more. I don't know. If they've done that, I guess he's coming then. That means these guys are totally out of control and he's coming. But that's the only way I can see it happening.
All right, we will watch, we will see. And I'm looking at some of the comments. Some people seem to know a lot, or I don't know. Some maybe getting false news, false hope, and these sort of things. We don't deal with false hope and false news and these things here. Looking at some of the comments, but I suspect that at some point in time he will visit. The ambassador is still there. She seems to not be going anywhere at all anytime soon. I don't know. Your take, good or bad?
Which ambassador?
The U.S. ambassador. She's still there.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, she's not. No, I don't think she's going anywhere. I mean, look, things are pretty quiet in Guyana. It's not too out of control. So, she's doing her job. I don't know. I think, yeah, she's doing her job, man. I think they're just going to look, think about it. If you're a country and you're at war and you've got to deal with war assets and you got to do you don't want headaches. Okay. And if she's doing a job to keep someplace that's usually a headache, not a headache, then she's going to be there for a long time. She might retire there, man. I'm just saying.
And what you're saying might be true, because she might not leave at the end of the year. She might not leave next year. She might just toss it out there with the PPP time in office, because it looks as though the elections petitions, we are not hearing anything about the elections petitions or anything at all. Nothing whatsoever.
That's a waste of time. That's a waste of time, Mark. Sorry.
What else is on the agenda? What else does you look into Guyana with your binoculars?
That the election stuff. I'm sorry, man. It's just like here, okay? Past elections they're the past. You can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. I know there's court cases, and it just is what it is, man. And if you're not looking forward, and if you're not trying to win the next election, if you're taking resources that should be going to the next election and you're using them to fight the last election, well, that just makes no sense. And here's why it makes no sense. By the time you win back the last election, the terms have already been served out for that election. So there's no fixing that. There isn't. So
we saw that in the 1997 election petition that was heard 4+ years after. And the elections were vitiated by then Justice Claudette Singh, who now sits there as the Elections Commission's chairman.
Yes. So it happened 4 years later, you said, right? It takes time. Yeah. That's why I say people I don't know. I'm of the mindset that in a place like Guyana, you are going to have election issues. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And so you have to constantly compete, and you have to know that you're not always going to win, even though you won. Both sides need to know that. I'm just telling you. Okay, so every time I hear about the election stuff and I hear about our Secretary of State, our government, it really it's like scratching a chalkboard for me, because I hate hearing another country going to another country about election issues. Like it's just, I don't know, something about it bothers me a lot, and I just don't think it's a good recipe to be wrestling over past stuff that much. Look, you fight over it for this reason. You fight over the things that you need to fix so that it doesn't happen in the future. Whatever happened that was bad in the past, right? That's what you do fight over. But trying to reverse things and redo things, and it's just, I don't know. I don't believe in that at all. I think you should constantly be fighting and competing, and knowing that if you get ripped a little and cheated a little, that it's going to happen. Keep your head up, keep fighting. You don't have to always be the party in power to affect change or to do what's right or to make things better. I mean, come on, man. That's the most frustrating part that I notice whenever I talk to you, Mark, about Guyana, is it's like the parliamentary system and everything has got people in the mindset of, and it happens here in the United States too, a lot too much, the mindset that if you don't win, then there's nothing. Unless you win, you can't do anything. And it's just not true. I'm telling you. To me, a country with multiple political parties is only as strong as the weakest party, or only as strong as the party who's out of power. If that party is weak and they don't work when they're out of power, then the country itself is going to be wobbly. It's not going to succeed. It's going to struggle. So, yeah, man, I'm into competing, even when it may not be fair, and I'm into using every resource you have for future elections. If there's anything for the past, it's to make sure that rules are put in place for future elections to make sure past infractions don't happen again. That's how I kind of see it.
Because when we look at the 2007 elections, correct me, Bush Jr. out there in Florida, that was dealt with expeditiously via the U.S. Supreme Court. Right away, it was dealt with, finished off. In Guyana, it takes years.
But you know what? But it really wasn't finished off. It was finished off in the courts, but it wasn't here, because I'm telling you, man, to this day, a big part of our country believes that election was stolen from Al Gore.
And it could have been. I mean, it's not done with by the people who believe that Al Gore did win the elections, and I suspect that he won the elections. But the U.S. Supreme Court dealt with it right there. They put a stopping to the counting of the ballots in Florida, and that's it. And when they stopped the counting, it showed that Bush Jr. was ahead, and that was the end of it. He became president of the United States of America. The court dealt with it expeditiously. And of course, there's this perception out there by John and Jane Doe that Al Gore was actually the legitimate president of the United States of America. But it's done with.
My question is this. Let me ask you this, though. Like, is this one of those things to you that so to me, I look at what happened in the last election, and I see the PPP being installed and the whole thing with CARICOM and everything. I see that as being dealt with quickly. It may not have been dealt with to your liking, but it was dealt with quickly. Am I wrong?
I don't know, but we want the elections petitions to be heard in Guyana. We want the courts to hear these elections petitions, because we know the outcome. We already know the outcome, that the PPP is afraid of the elections petitions because they know what they have done. And a lot of people, the perception out there, and rightly so, is that they have rigged the elections. And they don't want the world to, or the people in Guyana, including their own supporters, to see that they have rigged the elections.
Yeah, but Mark, even if it was shown that they did, their own supporters are still going to believe that they didn't.
Well,
and it's not going to change. I'm telling you, the people who believe that they rigged it are going to believe it no matter what comes out. I'm telling you. And the people who don't believe it was rigged, they're going to believe it was not, no matter what. I'm just telling you, no matter what evidence comes forward, they're never going to believe it. I promise you.
Because I see some of them are still asking for the SOPs, which is the statement of polls, right?
Yeah.
And I oftentimes have to remind them that the PPP is in office right now. They have all of the evidence. Don't ask the opposition to show their SOPs.
But that's my point, Mark.
The PPP has all the evidence.
But that's my point. This can go on and on and on forever, and it's complicated. And so the average people, they're just going to believe what they want to believe, no matter what evidence comes out. Mark, I promise you. I'm sorry, but that's how it works. This is how it goes, right? It's just like right now here. You have Trump and his supporters. They still believe that the election was stolen from him. They really believe it. And we've had audits. We've had audits of the audits. We've had lawsuits. We've had dozens and dozens and dozens of lawsuits, man. We've had so many government-run audits, private audits. And guess what? The Trump people are still saying, after all of it, that it was stolen from them. And it doesn't matter. I don't care how much evidence you show them. They're going to say that it was stolen no matter what. Okay, period. End of story. And you guys are sort of in the same situation. I hate to say it. Right. I'm not saying that you guys are like Trump, that you guys really lost and you won't accept. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is whether you accept it or not, the fact is that election is done with, period. And it doesn't matter what the courts say. It doesn't matter what evidence comes out, because the people who believe what they believe are going to believe it no matter what. And the only way forward is to win the next election. That's it.
Got you.
So that's where I think the attention should be and where the energy should be, in my opinion.
I got you, Tom. But let me just remind you and our listeners, and I'll play something from former U.S. Secretary of State who made this statement after Mr. Biden won the elections, after the results were declared and Mr. Biden was preparing to be sworn in as the next president of the United States of America. This is what a then sitting U.S. Secretary of State said.
Mr. Secretary.
Hi.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. All right, we're ready. The world is watching what's taking place here. We're going to count all the votes. When the process is complete, there'll be electors selected. There's a process. The Constitution lays it out pretty clearly. The world should have every confidence that the transition necessary to make sure that the State Department is functional today, successful today, and successful with the president who's in office on January 20th, mid-afternoon, will also be successful. I went through a transition on the front, and I've been on the other side of this. I'm very confident that we will do all the things that are necessary to make sure that the government, the United States government, will continue to perform its national security function as we go forward.
So you believe there's widespread voter fraud, that the reports that we're getting from Pennsylvania, from Michigan, showing vote totals in massive leads or significant leads with 99% reporting are going to be overturned, and that the United States failed to conduct a fraudulent free election?
Rich, I'm the Secretary of State. I'm getting calls from all across the world. These people are watching our election. They understand that we have a legal process. They understand that this takes time, right? It took us 37 plus days in an election back in 2000. We conducted a successful transition then. I'm very confident that we will count, and we must count every legal vote. We must make sure that any vote that wasn't lawful ought not be counted. That dilutes your vote if it's done improperly. Got to get that right. When we get it right, we'll get it right. We're in good shape.
Should foreign leaders not be calling
We're in good shape.
President-elect Biden?
Did you hear that, Tom? Because a lot of people are concerned about this. After an election was declared, Biden won the elections. A sitting U.S. Secretary of State is saying no, that the then President Donald Trump would be sworn in for a second term. That's brazen. And this is the same guy who said all of the votes have to be counted. All of the court matters have to be heard first. But in Guyana, as we prepare to wrap up this evening, in Guyana, he had a different story about the votes, about court matters. Judges were threatened. Elections officials were threatened. Politicians were threatened.
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't know if Mike Pompeo has much respect for Guyana, really. I mean, I don't know. When I say respect, what I mean is, does he hold Guyana in high regard in a country that he sees as pivotal? I just don't think he does. So from his perspective, whoever's running the country is whoever's running the country. He just wants to make sure whoever it is just keeps the headaches out of his hair. That's what he was thinking probably at the time, most likely. But with that said, if you really listen to what he was saying everything. He said, I was on the other side of this during a transition, so I know how that goes. And don't worry, we'll make sure it's right. So, I mean, he was saying what you were saying, but then at the same time, he was slipping in there that, oh yeah, he's come into it as a new person coming in on the other side of this, where the Biden people were. He knows how this works, and he's gonna make sure that everything goes fine. So I think, you have to understand too that at that time when he was talking, you had then President Trump looking at these interviews of his officials. And if Trump sensed any type of wavering or any type of disloyalness, Mike Pompeo would have been out of there, man. So he had the pressure on him. The Klieg lights were on. I mean, this guy had to say what he was saying, but at the same time, you could tell that he was slipping in there. Nah, man, we're going to have a fine transition. It's going to go fine. I just can't say it because the boss is listening and he's going to get really pissed if I say that. But trust me, it's going to be fine. That's what he was doing. With that said, look, Guyana, from what I understand, does not have a Supreme Court like us. You guys have to depend on a court of last resort, which is made up of justices from other countries within the Caribbean. You guys have to depend on CARICOM. You're in a much more complicated situation. That's why it's going to take more time for any real conclusion on what happened in the last election. With that said, Mark, and I haven't said it before, but I felt this, and I feel that it's the most productive thing. It's really, really time that the people of Guyana start to think about, what your priorities are here. And what I mean by that is, what are the things that you guys are talking about? What is it that you care about politically? You guys should be talking when you're on your breaks at work, when you're at home, on the weekends, when you have time. You guys should really be spending a lot of time talking about what you want in a government, what you want next, the things you need specifically on a local level, on a provisional level, on a national level. These discussions have to happen. People have to start talking. People have to start, communicating these things to their local officials. This is how the ball gets rolling. I would just hate for everyone to be spending a lot of time in hopes on this court, where you see that this justice of this court was just in Guyana visiting with the PPP. So I'm just telling you, I don't know if it's smart to be putting all these eggs in this basket of the election thing in the past. I think you can put a couple in there, but I think it's more fruitful, and you'll have a much brighter future if you put more eggs on the future in trying to get what you need out of the next government and even the current government, right?
All right, Tom, we're looking at the time, 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. And Russia, Ukraine, everything seems to be still going on there. The happenings, prices going up and around the world, and people are feeling the squeeze. But I know in Guyana, even things that are being produced there, people are feeling the squeeze every single day. As they say in Guyana, things are really, really tight. It means that prices have gone up.
Mark, I just paid to fill my car $75.
She must be driving a baby Lamborghini.
I wish.
You got to get money to get Lamborghini and drive around with Lamborghini.
I need to go. I need to talk to some guys in the PPP. I need to find out how do we do this.
I know.
I would never. You know what? Even if I had the money to buy 100 of those things, I wouldn't even buy one, man, because that money that would buy one of those, imagine what that money could do if it was put into a local school for some of these kids there. It could change the lives of dozens of people, and those dozens whose lives are changed with an education will go on to affect the entire world, right? So, yeah, what a waste of money that is on those vehicles. I don't know why those guys do it, but I hope one day some of these guys with these baby Lamborghinis in Guyana, I hope one day they realize that for a lot less money invested in your own people there that you're living with, you could see so much more for yourself and for everyone else. So hopefully that will happen soon. Hopefully the people of Guyana who are addicted to these trinkets can figure out that the country is beautiful, has a lot of potential. It takes some investment. It takes some sowing of seeds, right? And I believe a huge harvest can be reaped, but you got to sow the seeds in the youth. And hopefully some of these guys with the baby Lamborghinis, they can do that. It doesn't take much. I hope they can, because it'll make a huge difference in Guyana.
All right, well said, guys. And the overnight riches and their Lamborghinis and their helicopters and so forth. We just got to watch them for now. You know what I mean? You never know what comes next. But Tom, as always, thank you so much for your time. We'll be back next Wednesday, same place, same time. Have a great weekend, man.
All right, guys, take care. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. All right, Tom Anderson there for you guys, telling it like it is. He will be back next Wednesday. He let the cat out of the bag, as we would say in Guyana, that I wanted to blank you guys this evening, but not entirely true. but look, getting back to this guy as we wrap up, U.S. Secretary of State, don't run away with, there will be lots of rumors, there will be lots of talking, there will be people who say that they know this and their sources are impeccable and all manner of things. Pay no attention. Pay no attention. Don't waste your energy. If Blinken is going to be going to Guyana, you will get it from the official source. That is the U.S. State Department, and from the U.S. State Department through to the U.S. Embassy. Now, you can't stop people from talking. People will talk. Some people will pretend to know that they know more than anything else. Be careful with those who pretend to know what they don't know. But at the end of the day, Blinken, for now, is not heading to Guyana. It doesn't mean that at some point in time he wouldn't. But for now, he is not heading to Guyana. And when he's heading to Guyana, you will hear it. The U.S. Embassy will announce it, or a statement from the U.S. State Department. That's all I have to say for tonight. My name is Mark Benshap. I'll be back on Monday, same place, same time. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful rest of the evening. God bless you all.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame. What a travesty. It calls for us to think and think deep. The stage we are in as a country is not a stage where you become an onlooker. You have become an onlooker for too long. You must get ready to put your hands to the plow and be part of the process. It's not just about PVC, carry PVC. You must be in the kitchen where it is being determined. You must be there where the decisions are being made. If we are there in our numbers, they cannot outnumber us. But you leave it aloof. Oh, no, it's too dirty. It's a dirty game. And then the dirty guy is getting to the game of play. And you are there not showing up. And when they begin to make the decisions, you will know whether it's a dirty game or not. The result is always dirty on yours. Dirty on your health. Dirty on your business. Dirty on your success and your career. I hope that is stirring up something in you.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Right about now, I living in Guyana right about now. I aim in Guyana no more. I think I will go and get me visa and I go fly out and I go to Burmese and I go relax myself because I aim in Guyana no more. I aim in Guyana. I gotta go Burmese.
Well, the gas raise up and the grocery raise up. I think the government should do something about that because people taping and raise up top dog, you don't know. That's all what I have to say. They should really do something about that.
Pressure boss pipe. Pressure boss pipe, baby. Umaninza, Guyana, de underwater. Oh, Honduran. Sorry. Umaninza, Guyana, de under pressure. Walk. Bangamere is $400 pong. Trout $400 pong. Oh, you go buy that, sell back, buy. I just come and tell about me, buy me little fish and mix with me little crab and sell. Thing that just raise, thing just double, the price just double. Oh, partner. What you could do now? You don't squeeze out the juice from the Guyanese people. The beer hawks left, what you could do with the orange? We can't eat the hawks that guy. Pressure bus pipe, partner, pressure bus pipe. When you put up a fucking 20,000 this week, next week you put up a 10,000, other week you put up a fucking 15,000 end of the month, you gotta still borrow 20,000, but somebody will pay the bill. Right now, like water bill, more dear on light bill. And then all, if you get cut off, me a walk little crab. Now crab man is walk little crab. That's it. Me a do business. Me gotta pay commercial. On 7.5 you gotta pay 15,000. But just put a man. Nah nonsense man. Me the people try rob you back your back. Them a rob you in front of your face. Now look the goods gone. What I'm gonna do here, buddy? Light bill, phone bill, NIS, tax. Ration, look, thing that raised $2 more. Everything is just double all the time.